Hello, good evening, and welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. We apologize for bringing the news late. This is due to technical difficulties beyond our control. Our top stories in the news tonight: former Croatian parliamentarian makes wild allegations in the child trafficking syndicate. A 19-year-old woman murders husband in LUSAKA'S Garden House compound. Police in LUSAKA'S MANDEVU compound accused of trivializing a defilement case. In international news, Amnesty International accuses West of double standards. And in sports news, a freelance journalist sues FAZ.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Hello once again, the news in detail. A 19-year-old woman has allegedly murdered her 24-year-old husband in LUSAKA'S Garden House area after a marital dispute. Landlord to the couple, Alex Manunga, explains that the incident happened Sunday morning at around 03 hours after the couple started fighting and stabbing each other with a glass bottle. He explains that the couple were separated and rushed to Kanyama Level 1 hospital, stating that the man, identified as Lakson Chizeya, however, died Monday morning at around 0150 hours due to excessive bleeding, and his wife, Donisa Chilumelume, is being held at Kanyama Police Station. More in this report.
It is an unexpected turn from the usual reports of a man killing his wife after stab wounds from a 19-year-old woman have allegedly led to the death of her 24-year-old husband. The scenario at this house of Garden House compound in Lusaka, which is the alleged crime scene, has a story to tell, as the door is unhinged with scattered bottles all over the floor in the house where the fight leading to the death is said to have happened. According to a police statement by Zambia Police Deputy Spokesperson Danny Mwale, the woman, identified as Donisa Chilumelume, and her husband, identified as Lakson Chizeya, got into a fight when the man, after coming from a drinking spree, found his wife talking to another man. Landlord of the premises, Alex Manunga, has first-hand information stating that the duo took turns in stabbing each other using one glass bottle in the wee hours of Sunday morning. This led to the man dying at Kanyama Level 1 hospital in the wee hours of Monday morning due to the heavy bleeding he experienced after the incident.
A police sibabwira nachoka hapo kuyambosa kila transport na bana sepula pani baba bali bana baba na vumira motoka ya bwira bula imirira after imirira atinaona rat kurusa police ya bwira barandro dibawa kamba tisinsi ile zinatumira police nati abantu bapaya na kuno kwelani chabe mmanja ndani ya police kuti mufike buno bwino
waikeko nzero ku ministry yao chifukwa sichioneka bwino ero inkani yofera muntu pa floor siza silira apa ikali kuyenda kusogolo boma ikaliko imatandiza monga mavuto yaso sinapeleke mwana wanga kuti afera kunyumba wati monga ti afera kunyumba bama mchita atendi na kumwika mu mortuary room manje mwana afera mu hospital nisichinala kuika nchiani na kubukinga motoka pamene pa hospital kuti kuniuza kuti mwana wako wamene amwalira sasa gona mochari yapano pa Kanyama Level 1 hospital mwana wako wafunika kupeleka ku UTH ali responsible body kuti aipeleke ku UTH ngati ili under management ndine loko ni management.
The father and mother of the deceased, however, have a different complaint, stating that police delayed to arrive at the scene due to transport challenges. They have also alleged that their loved one died on the floor as he was discharged from Kanyama Level 1 Hospital due to the lack of space, and that the family was told to transport the body to the University Teaching Hospital UTH mortuary on their own.
Where they were taken to the clinic, both of them, with the family members. My appeal unto our government, I think the community, the way it is, Garden House, is very vast and it has grown. The population is very high. Garden House on its own, we are supposed to have not less than 3 police posts. Then from there, again, unto the Ministry of Home Affairs, we are requesting that Kanyama constituency is just too big for it to have 1 land cruiser. Therefore, we are appealing unto the government if they can help us to come up with at least in each, maybe in each police post, to have a mobile vehicle.
The accused woman is currently at Kanyama police station, while 2 young children have been left half orphaned. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A 49-year-old man of Lusaka's Mandevu compound has gone scot-free from Mandevu police post after allegedly repeatedly defiling an 8-year-old girl from the same community. Speaking to Camden News, Emmanuel Perry, father of the girl, which is not his real name, explains that the accused was the family's former landlord and that the alleged defilement used to happen every time the girl's parents were away, as they shared the same yard with their landlord. Meanwhile, the little girl, Mercy Perry, which is also not her real name, has narrated how the accused used to drag her into one of the toilets located outside the houses, making her kneel down and defiling her on multiple occasions. More in this report.
After allegedly taking the innocence of an 8-year-old girl, a man suspected to be around 49 years of LUSAKA'S Mandevu compound is said to be living in the same community with the victim's family and taunting them after he was allegedly released from Mandevu police post, where he had been arrested after the matter was officially reported on 30th January 2023. It is not known how many times the girl was allegedly defiled, as the accused, the carpenter, is the family's former long-time landlord who was living within the same premises. The family of the girl say the owner started suspecting that something was wrong with the 8-year-old after she started experiencing abdominal pains, causing them to take her to the hospital. They, however, narrate that the accused was released from Mandevu police post without any statement being recorded from the victim's family. Names of the family members have been changed for the sake of confidentiality.
Mandevu police hapa ndema minute namperekera mwana QTH kuja tinacha ya program yonse ya mwana yanasira na malizauti anachoka pamande pantanda kutitende chitebwanji tisegurise docket tinapeza uja muntu wa chitabwanji bamchosa so apamanja pa yenda mtumansi so apanet kamba ikesi na anabwani konkapo last time nambonuza kuti inesi na vichitepo romamena inda kambira mu bantu kuti ikesi tinamna mzira chape.
Grandmother of the girl, Judith Mulenga, has also produced medical records from the University Teaching Hospital UTH, which have confirmed that the girl was repeatedly defiled.
Naenda kuchipata kliniki zona wanampima mwana wapezati wanilangiza tumaona vidonda hivi wanamba liti wa dokta anamfunsa na yeve mwana ati wanamba nikudala ambu ya wanga na titieni pa polisi before tukaribu kuenda kuli yeve tenaenda ku polisi abo atuza tendani mumtenge tenamtenga taenda naye pachani pa Mandevu polisi taenda naye fitapitiliza na ulendo watu wakuchane ku UTH tinapeza dokta mkazi dokta na yeva nabo apima bo anita na tumaona kadi veve bene bake baza mwene wa mwana wapimira nabo bapima bayangana banirangiza tutulonda utu nato zona anamkwira.
The girl Mercy Perry has also narrated how the accused used to drag her to one of the toilets outside their house, kneel down, and defile her many times.
Ndio wampeka mtoilet na mbafu na wanigilisha shidoyo mso ndio kuipa.
Meanwhile, Zambia Police Deputy Spokesperson Daniel Mwale says an inquiry will be undertaken to see what led to the release of the accused. The family of the victim have shifted from the premises but are still living within the same community. Camnet TV will also continue to follow the story with relevant non-government organizations until its conclusion. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Reverend Solomon Mbulo has called for a banning on movies and children's cartoons that depict gay and lesbian rights if Zambia is to win the fight against this vice. Speaking to Camnet News, National Day of Prayer Organizing Committee member Reverend Solomon Mbulo is also of the view that children are getting brainwashed at a young age, stating that this will make it hard to discourage them from the vice when they grow older. He has urged Zambia to emulate countries like Uganda, who have tightened laws against the LGBTQ+ agenda. The clergyman has also called for monthly prayers against this vice from willing clergymen and citizens, stating that the country, being a Christian nation, cannot wait for October to conduct national prayers.
We feel that maybe 18th October was not enough for us to go upon the name of the Lord. But the gathering was attracted believers from all corners of Lusaka who came to go upon the name of the Lord. And we are looking at the issues of human rights, issues of the cartoons in our children as they have been brought up. Remember nowadays that we may not, these things are coming in different forms of the topic that we have at hand as LGBTQI. You might find that maybe it can come through our children, through the cartoons. You find that there's a giraffe, a male, and a male making maybe dating or going to relationship. So we are saying as a church, we're saying no to that. And then also we are praying against our youth. You remember that in the Bible I told that there were certain youth that could not bow to the rules of the land during the time of Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. So we see that the youth who did not bow were even sometimes thrown in the furnace fire, but because of saying no. So we are saying that our youth should not be swayed by this homosexuality in Zambia, but instead they should make a stance that this is wrong. The Bible condemns it because when God created in the beginning man and a woman.
The National Development and Democracy Executive Director Samuel Banda has pleaded with the Zambian people to reject the gay agenda, which he says has taken center stage in their country, especially with the holding of the Democracy Summit commencing tomorrow. Mr. Banda says Zambia is a sovereign state with its own laws and should not be forced to adopt foreign culture in the name of human rights. He has since urged all Zambians to put national above personal interests and ensure that they partake in building and sustaining Zambia's growing democracy. Mr. Banda has therefore called on U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris to take the message to President Biden that our long-held belief is that Zambia and other African countries do not need to be subjected to U.S. laws. Mr. Banda was speaking at a joint briefing with Zambians for Peace, Unity and Development, ZUPED, in Lusaka Tuesday. Meanwhile, ZUPED President Ronnie Jerry has noted with concern the manner in which independent Lumezi Member of Parliament Munia Zulu is being treated. He says Mr. Zulu should be protected as a whistleblower. Mr. Zulu was arrested by police after implicating 2 cabinet ministers in a corruption scandal.
Not a colony of any country that laws made in those countries must target to punish African countries. The issue of gay rights has been a subject of discussions, and though we are happy that the position taken by our President, Republican President, His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, this message needs to be said to the Vice President of America straight and clear that Zambians are not and will never be ready to import these alien vices of homosexuality. Our culture and traditional heritage should be respected at all costs and should not be replaced with foreign culture ideologies such as the support and endorsement of LGBTQ agenda. This agenda, which seemingly has taken root in our society, should not be imposed on us.
The president was voted into power on the premise of fighting corruption. We are surprised that today he is the one in the forefront to defend those that are alleged to be corrupt. We are very disappointed with his statement where he openly told the media to say he had instructed the finance minister to sue Munia Zulu. That statement was offside, and if it is possible, we ask the president to retract that statement, because already Munia Zulu has been convicted.
The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has justified perceived failure to collect base tax from marketeers across the country. ZRA Director Research on Corporate Strategy, Ezekiel Piri, says they had challenges with the tax collection model. He says local authorities will be collecting 1 kwacha daily from traders through local authorities. Mr. Piri says they have so far signed contracts with 33 councils in several parts of the country.
The willing taxpayers, the taxpayers in most markets are willing to pay, but the cost of transmitting that money to ZRA, so for example, if they want to pay through a mobile money thing, the charge on mobile money transaction could surpass the amount that they are paying. So really it becomes quite not cost effective. So it's a number of factors which most of them may not be within the control of ZRA. But as you may be aware, we are currently embarking on an agency model. We've entered into an agreement with the local authorities to ensure that they collect the taxes on our behalf. So you know that the local authorities, local government, the councils have presence in markets and they are collecting other fees. So the strategy that we've embarked on is that as they collect those other fees, they also collect the taxes and they will be accounted for separately. So that when going forward, you will see that once these councils have been, and we've conducted workshops for them on what they need to do, they will not handle the cash. I think that's been the worry by most of the concerned stakeholders. They will not handle the cash. They will pay using existing platforms, payment platforms that have been put in place by ZRA. All they will do is to ensure that they force that everybody in those packets is paying what is due in base tax. So it's something that the authority is fully aware of. We have a strategy. So far we've signed contracts with 33 councils. Come next year we are targeting to add a bit more.
Republican Vice President Mtalena Lumango says government through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has relocated victims of Cyclone Freddy in Chama North and Chama South districts in Eastern Province. Responding to a question from Chama North Member of Parliament Yotamu Mtayachalo in Parliament Tuesday, the Republican Vice President says so far 718 metric tons of maize and 40 tents have been dispatched for people in the affected areas. She adds that this relief also consists of chlorine, salt, beans and other essential items. The Vice President adds that an assessment study is being undertaken to provide a roadmap which can help in providing for future situations. She states that among those measures is advising occupants to move to higher ground.
Total 424 hectares of fields were damaged and 93 houses were destroyed. Madam Speaker, for immediate relief and as urgent measures to support the affected communities in Chama District, the government through DMMU has provided both food and non-food relief items as follows. There were 40 tents, 100 cases of 12 bottles per case chlorine, amounting to 350 mils per bottle. Salt, 15 cases of 20 kg per case. Sugar, 20 cases of 20 kgs. Cooking oil, 30 cases with 12 bottles per case of 750 mils per bottle. Millimil, 100 bags of 25 kg. Another type, 250 bags of 10 kg. And the beans, 25 bags of 50 kg. In addition, the House may wish to know that Chama district has already received about 718 metric tons of relief maize, translating into 14,360 bags of 50 kg of relief maize, which has also covered the affected areas.
Government has reaffirmed its commitment to the global biodiversity framework in the quest to achieve protection of natural resources for sustainability of the planet in ways that promote cultural, social, and economic prosperity for rural communities. Ministry of Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Muhanga has called for concerted efforts to ensure that more tourism sites in the country gain some form of international ratings. He was speaking at the launch of the successful green light listing of the North Luangwa National Park as one of the green tourism sites in the world by the International Union of Conservation of Nature, ICUN, in Lusaka. He said ICUN has rated North Luangwa National Park as one of the 6 protected areas in Africa that meet the international standard in the management of the environment and fauna. Mr. Muhanga said various stakeholders need to come on board to ensure that more protected areas in the country gain international ratings. He said the move will boost the country's image as one of the best tourism destinations in the world. And German ambassador to Zambia, Anne Wagner Mitchell, pledged her country's commitment to support Zambia's tourism sector.
The Ministry of Tourism, therefore, has noted the positive trend towards sustainable tourism world over, and we recognize the need to show that Zambia can offer a responsible and travel destination for tourists. Assisting in our efforts to promote Zambia as a tourist destination of choice in the region is the Green List, which provides evidence of our management of these natural resources in an effective and equitable manner, but most importantly that the communities around these sites are major beneficiaries.
To support this goal, I am happy that Germany will increase its international biodiversity funding to 1.5 billion euros per year until 2025, as announced by the German Chancellor.
The Clean Cities Initiative has observed that poor sanitation and dilapidation of infrastructure in the capital city has hindered the capital from attaining the smart city standard. Organization Chief Executive Officer Watts Mwila notes that Lusaka, as the capital city of Zambia, must be the example in terms of cleanliness, yet the opposite is true. Mr. Mwila has advised the government to be taking advantage of international visitors to market its capital city to attract investment by making sure that the city is conducive for the locals and visitors. He points out that the city is receiving a fair share of tourists through event hosting such as the forthcoming Democracy Summit, which Zambia is co-hosting, to be attended by the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, but regrets that matters pertaining to good sanitation have not been prioritized.
Standards of cleanliness has really gone down, and really this paints a bad picture or a bad image, especially for the capital city, to the international world. In a few hours, if I may put it that way, Zambia will be hosting a very, very important summit, and this is the Democracy Summit. We believe that the visitors who will be coming are not only coming are not only coming alone. They are coming with different other stakeholders, including the media. And what we believe is that as these medias are coming to cover this summit, they don't just confine themselves to hotels and other places that really look attractive in the capital city. What we believe is that the news anchors will be all over the capital city, including the places that we've really not taken care of. So for us, it is a plea to government through the local authority and other agencies like the road development agencies. We've noticed that the capital city has got a lot of potholes. For the Lusaka City Council, we've also noticed that there are a lot of street lights that have been bashed and been hit by the motorists, and really nothing has been taken care of. No replacement. In other places, we don't even have street lights. In other places, we don't have traffic lights. So really for us, it's a major concern, and really government should have taken advantage of this, that the VVIP people that we are receiving from across the globe should have put an opportunity that we improve the image and the standard of the capital city.
Heads of immigration departments of Zambia and Tanzania have held a bilateral relations meeting aimed at finding a sustainable solution to the growing crimes of human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. Director General for the Department of Immigration in Zambia, Japhet Lishomwa, says that the deliberation between the two countries will help to address the transnational disposition of migration-related crimes such as human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. Dr. Lishomwa says international cooperation between Zambia and Tanzania is the utmost solution to resolving common challenges of imbalances in the treatment of the business community, especially truck drivers, by immigration authorities in both countries. He was speaking in Lusaka today during the official opening of the 2 days meeting. And Commissioner General of Department of Immigration of Tanzania, Anna Makakala, noted that the meeting will convey matters about the prevention and combating of illegal migration and the exchange of information and experiences between Zambia and Tanzania. Dr. Makakala also expressed hope that the meeting will help to find a lasting solution to matters pertaining to the safety of the Zambian and Tanzanian border in order to enhance trade relations between the two countries. You're watching Camnet Television and not just another channel. We'll take a break. Join us for more news after the break.
In our quest to serve nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with our news. A former Croatian member of parliament, Ivan Pernar, has revealed his intentions to be a state witness in a case where 8 of his country fellows stand accused of attempted child trafficking of 4 children from the Democratic Republic of Congo on the Zambian soil. In an interview, Mr. Pernar disclosed that there is a lot of adoption of African children to Croatia. However, he wondered why transgender gays and lesbians can adopt children from Congo when the Congo law doesn't permit. He has accused his government of trying to have the suspects released without being tried. This is in a matter in which 4 couples have been jointly charged with Gloria Sakulenga, 36, a Zambian of Kabompo, with child trafficking. The 8 Croatians include Damia Majdik, 44, an electrical technician, Nadika Majdik, 45, a technician, Zoran Subosic, 52, a musician, Azra Imanovic Subosic, 41, an administrator, Ladislav Perisic, 42, a medical doctor, Alexandra Perisic, 43, a hair salon attendant, Noah Krajovic, 40, a program director, and Ivona Krajovic, 36, a dog handler.
Into Zambia is because I realized that Croatian authorities are trying to cover up this case and basically take out the accused of prison on any way possible. The first moment when I suspected that the adoptions were illegal was when it came out information that one of the accused child traffickers, Noah Kraljevic, is transgender person, and we know that in DR Congo transgender people cannot adopt children. Later I went to the Belgrade embassy of DR Congo in Serbia, and they told me that for years DR Congo does not allow any foreign adoptions, and at that moment I realized that this is not just suspicion about one person, but the whole group may have been acting contrary to the law. And at that moment the Croatian state began putting pressure on me, and as soon as I could, I took the flight ticket and I came to Zambia, to Ndola, where I met with the prosecutors, and there I gave testimony and I gave them important information regarding the case.
Former Lusaka Principal Magistrate David Simosamba has dragged the state in the Lusaka High Court seeking damages for unlawful, unfair and wrongful dismissal. According to his notice of complaint before court, Mr. Simosamba claims that he had his contract of employment terminated without the due process being followed. He is now seeking, among other things, an order of reinstatement in his position. More in this report.
Unsatisfied with his dismissal from serving as a judicial officer, former Lusaka Magistrate David Simosamba has rushed to the Lusaka High Court complaining about the same. In an affidavit in support of notice of complaint, he has submitted that he was appointed to act as a registrar at the High Court Family and Children Division on the 20th of March 2019 and was entitled to receive an acting allowance equal to the difference between his substantive salary as a principal resident magistrate and any other allowances applicable to the rank of registrar in the High Court, and enjoy all entitlements relating to the office of the Registrar of the High Court. He contends that he acted for almost 4 years as registrar, however, was demoted in 2022 and transferred back to the subordinate court in Lusaka. He has submitted before court that upon inquiring why he was being demoted and transferred, the acting chief registrar and chief administrator informed him that they were merely directed by the higher authorities and advised him to administratively apply to the high authorities. While still was waiting for his disposal of his administration appeal, to his shock, he received a letter from the acting chief resident magistrate then, Dominic Makalicha, and the acting chief registrar, Paul Chisha. He states that the chief resident magistrate gave him a letter on the 31st of January 2022, and in total contravention of the procedure for handling disciplinary matter in the public service, reportedly charged him with absenteeism, alleging that he has been absent from duty without leave for a continuous period of 10 days or more from the 30th of December 2021 to the 31st of January 2022, which allegation was totally unfounded as he had always reported for duty. He now seeks an order for reinstatement in his position, an order or declaration that his dismissal was unlawful, unfair, and wrongful, an order that he be paid his appropriate benefit, applicable allowance accordingly, an order that he be paid his half salaries, housing and fuel allowance from August 2022 until the 31st of December 2022. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriotic Front aspiring presidential candidate Miles Sampa has told the Lusaka High Court that it has been difficult for him to serve 4 senior party officials who he has cited for contempt, as their whereabouts is not known and have been evasive to receive the said contempt documents. In this case, Miles Sampa, who is also Matero Area Member of Parliament, has commenced contempt proceedings against 4 senior party officials for allegedly disregarding an injunction not to hold themselves out in their position. Mr. Sampa has cited Acting Party President Given Lubinda, Acting Secretary General Nixon Chilangwa, Rafael Nakachinda, and Davis Chama. More in this report.
In the latest update in the legal battle of the opposition Patriotic Front, the party aspirant presidential candidate Miles Sampa submitted before court how he is facing difficulties to service 4 senior party officials who he has cited for contempt, as they are whereabouts and not known and have been dodging to receive the said contempt documents. In this case, Mr. Miles Sampa, who is also Matero Area Member of Parliament, has commenced contempt proceedings against 4 senior party officials for allegedly regarding an injunction not to hold themselves out in their position. He has cited Acting Party President Given Lubinda, Acting Secretary General Nixon Chilangwa, PF Information and Publicity Chairperson Rafael Nakachinda, and Mr. Davis Chama. In his submissions, Mr. Sampa has told the Lusaka High Court that considering that the said 4 senior officials have been dodging effort to have the said contempt documents personally served on them have proved futile. He states that he is not in a position to effect prompt personal service on them, therefore it is prudent that he apply for an order for substituted service, adding that he is desirous in promptly serving the contempt document so as to proceed with the matter and not waste the court's time. He is now requesting that the court grants him an order to effect service by way of substituted service to advertise in a widely local newspaper to save the said contempt documents. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet Television's main news. We'll take our second and final break. Join us for more in international and sports news after the break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Continue with our news, and now in international news. Amnesty International accused the West of double standards in dealing with crises such as refugees and human rights. In its annual report released this Tuesday, the NGO accused the West of being soft in their approach to human rights in countries such as Saudi Arabia and Egypt. European states, among others, exhibited double standards as well because while condemning Russia, they condoned or were complicit in grave violations by their allies Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Israel, among others, said Philip Luther, Senior Research and Policy Advisor at Amnesty International. Amnesty International also denounced the different approach taken by the Western countries towards Ukrainian refugees and those from Syria and Afghanistan. Amnesty International Italia General Director Eliana Bello added. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Amnesty International accused the West of double standards in dealing with crises such as refugees and human rights. In its annual report, released this Tuesday, the NGO accused the West of being soft in their approach to human rights in countries such as Saudi Arabia and Egypt.
European states, among others, exhibited double standards as well because, while condemning Russia, they condoned or were complicit in grave violations by their allies, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Israel, among others.
Amnesty International also denounced the different approach taken by Western countries towards Ukrainian refugees and those from Syria and Afghanistan.
E anche a Riccardo all'inizio, e quindi
we did welcome refugees from Ukraine again, rightfully, but we didn't have the same approach towards other refugees and migrants that we often left dying in the Mediterranean Sea.
Che invece abbiamo lasciato che molto spesso morissero nel Mediterraneo.
According to the report, the year 2022 saw an overall deterioration in civil and political rights, with these suffering repression in some Western countries.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris met with Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo, bringing an aid package to shore up security, economic and development cooperation as part of a three-nation African tour. Harris said the visit would strengthen ties and opportunity with Ghana, playing down concerns the trip was motivated only by countering China's investment.
President Biden and I have made clear that the United States is strengthening our partnerships across the continent of Africa. And we are guided not by what we can do for Africa, but what we can do with Africa and our African partners on this continent.
I'm happy to state that this afternoon's meeting has further boosted the steadfast cooperation between us. And Ghana will continue to collaborate with the United States of America at all levels.
After Ghana, Harris will travel Wednesday to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Kenyan police fired tear gas and water cannon at protesters and opposition leader Raila Odinga's convoy on Monday as they pressed ahead with an anti-government rally despite a ban. The opposition stalwart has called for protests every Monday and Thursday against the government of President William Ruto, who he claims stole last year's election and is failing to address the high cost of living. Ruto should look at the price of maize flour or else will continue protesting. We want the price of cooking flour to go down. Ruto has been unable to reduce the price of maize flour. We want Ruto to step down because he has been unable to reduce the price of maize flour. We want him to step down and go back to Suigo. Police also clashed with stone-throwing demonstrators in the city's largest slum, Kibera, where protesters set tires ablaze while gangs attacked journalists.
It's now time for sports news. A freelance journalist based in the United States of America, Augustine Mukoka, has sued the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, before the Lusaka High Court for seeking an apology on the allegations leveled against him by the association. In his statement of claim, Mr. Mukoka is further seeking damages for libel, defamation, aggravated damages, interest, and any other relief the court might deem fit. He wants a mandatory order that FAZ renders an apology for the allegations leveled against him and the grounds upon which he was allegedly banned by FAZ on the 13th of March 2019 through a print media of wide circulation, stopping him from publishing anything in relation to the association. He states that he learned through the media that FAZ, through its ethics committee, had summoned him on grounds that he had allegedly published an article that FAZ had paid its executive committee huge sums of money for sitting allowance. He claims FAZ had no legal basis to ban him as he was not a member of its executive committee. To end Camnet television news, the headlines once again. Former Croatian parliamentarian makes wild allegations in the child trafficking syndicate. A 19-year-old woman murders husband in LUSAKA'S garden house compound. Police in LUSAKA'S MANDEVU compound accused of trivializing a defilement case. In international news, Amnesty International accuses West of double standards. And in sports news, a freelance journalist sues FAZ. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from John 13, verse 21. After he had said this, Jesus was troubled in spirit and testified, I tell you the truth, one of you is going to betray me. Thank you once again for watching Camnet News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.